guys, Bearded Viking Gamer here, and today I got some more pickups and stuff for you. This is going to be a multi-system pickup again. This is stuff that I've picked up here in the last week or so, and I want to show you guys some of the stuff I'm playing right now. Alright, here's one of the first ones here. This game is freaking awesome. I know there's a lot of talk about whether it's a good or not. It's actually really good. The graphics are phenomenal. And it's Death Stranding. I'm in it, got a good, I don't know, I'd say 13 hours maybe. And, you know, I'd say the first 10 hours, you don't really even know what's going on fully. But it starts to get easier. Things start to get easier with the stuff you get, and it's actually really, really cool. That's of course the tin case set. It's really good. I really enjoy that one actually. Hideo Kojima for sure. I love a lot of his stuff. You're either a fan of him or not. You know, some people don't like the Metal Gear series things, and I loved them. So it hit well with me. I like it. I like it a lot. Another one here. This is a PC game actually. I don't really show. This is the first PC game I think I've shown on here. But I saw this and it instantly remember seeing stuff like this in the magazine. And this is Blade Runner, but on the PC. And man, this was a Goodwill find. It's Westwood Studios. And I don't know if you guys remember seeing any of the stuff in magazines, but dude, the cyberpunk feel, the futuristic stuff on that is freaking just awesome looking. And I've always wanted to play it. I never played it when I was younger. But now to get that for, I think it was $1.60 or something at Goodwill, for sure. Everything's in there, the manual and everything. It's just awesome to find that. Super happy to have that in there. And one of these times I gotta put that in there and try to play this thing. Here was a pickup here. This was another thrift store. And this one was a Hollywood Video. Actually, it's in the wrong case and everything. This was an Army Men Sarge's Heroes case, but this is actually Ape Escape on the PlayStation, but it's a Hollywood Video rental. And it was only $3. So, it's cool to have that in there. It's too bad it's loose and I don't have a case for it. I normally don't buy stuff like that. But in the same token, this was in there as well. And this one is a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the PlayStation 1. But it doesn't have the manual. And then upon opening this, there's actually two of them in there for some reason. Go figure, I have no idea. But two Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters in one case there. And that was $3 as well. So why not? Here's one on here. This is for the Gamecube. And I always like that shader cell look to games and stuff. It makes games a little different. And this is 13 for the Gamecube. Looks pretty cool though. I like that cell shading look to things. Pretty neat. Alright. Here's an original Xbox game. Of course I need to clean it up and take some of the stickers and stuff off here. But this was Painkiller Hell Wars on the original Xbox. Another first-person shooter, guys. You know me, I love those first-person shooters. It's freaking cool looking. Here was another thrift store. This was Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. A new evil rises, it says on the back. I typically don't see this. I mean, it's probably not worth a whole lot. It's an Ubisoft game, but it's cool. It looks cool. Alright, here was a PlayStation 2 title. And this one is Pirates, The Legend of the Black Buccaneer. I always like these old pirate ones. Looks cool. Treasure hunting, matey. Be searching for the Black Pearl, you know. Alright, and here is an Xbox 360 pickup. This is Star Ocean: The Last Hope on the Xbox 360. You can put a lot of time in these RPGs, man. Square Enix at it again. Alright, let's see here. This was an original Xbox game. And this is Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. I remember when this one first came out. Yeah. Pretty cool. Those little Oddworld games are cool. Alright, so here is a Game Gear game that I didn't have on here. And this one is Streets of Rage. Of course, guys, anybody on the Sega remembers Streets of Rage. Awesome game. And here's another Game Gear. This is the sequel here. This is Streets of Rage 2 on the Game Gear. Awesome. Happy to have those on there. I mean, that Game Gear just sucks down batteries, so eventually I'd like to maybe mod it just so I can make it my own. I'm not huge into doing that stuff, but the amount of batteries that thing sucks, I want to change the screen out and make it more efficient for sure. I just don't have the people yet to do that stuff, but eventually I'll do it. Here's another Sega Game Gear game. This one is an RPG, and this is Dragon Crystal on the Game Gear there. And then I was super excited to have this because I'm a huge fan of this game here. But on the Game Gear, I just didn't even know, honestly, that it was on there. I just saw it there. And this is Ninja Gaiden on the Game Gear. I didn't really realize it was on there. I have Ninja Gaiden Shadow on the Game Boy, and that is so much fun for a little handheld. Gosh, I don't know how that slipped by me. Speaking of Game Boy stuff, here is a Game Boy game that I picked up, and this is Contra the Alien Wars, but on the Game Boy. It's freaking cool. And I always like my little way of playing on these things is I always hook it up to the Super Game Boy, so I can put it on a big screen or bigger TV, and it gives it a little bit of color, but that way you can play it and see it a lot easier. So I always love doing that with the Game Boy stuff. I like putting it on that Game Boy, Super Game Boy player and playing it on there. Here's a dungeon crawler on the Game Boy, and I always love those old dungeon crawlers where you're going down the seeing the walls as you're moving down and having to find your path through there. And this one is Mysterium, and for the Game Boy there, it freaking looks cool. Looks cool. Glad to have it in there. Alright, so now we got some 64 titles that I had picked up that just didn't have in the collection, so if I find it cheap I always do it, And this one was Glover on the 64. And then this one here, of course I need to clean some stickers off, but this is a Ridge Racer 64 on the Nintendo 64. All those Ridge Racer games on the PlayStation, man, it's cool to see it on here. And then I didn't have this one either, and this is South Park on the 64 there. So glad to have that in the collection. So those 3 more titles to add to the 64 pile there. And I have about 9 more games left on here, and I'll show you guys here. This is a PlayStation 2 title, and this is Suikoden 3 on the PlayStation 2. I don't have number 2 yet on the PlayStation 1, but it's pricey, and if I come across it cheap, for sure I'm going to try to get it. But these games are so much fun when you just build your own town. Like I love the first one for sure. How your town starts to build, or your castle starts to build with more people the more you recruit. Here's a PlayStation 4 game that I didn't have on there, and this is the Red Faction Guerrilla remastered. That looks cool. Of course, being on Mars, blowing up a bunch of stuff. It's cool. Well, I can't wait to jump into that one. I remember playing that when it first came out on the other system there for sure. So having it remastered on here with a little better graphics is going to look cool. Here's a first-person shooter. Now, I saw gameplay of this, and I was like, man, I just never heard of it. And I saw some gameplay footage of it, and these guns you can build, you can do guns all the way across the whole screen if you want to, but it's going to suck down your ammunition. And this is Mother Gunship on the PlayStation 4. The amount of guns you can build on here is just unreal. And then you just go to town, you go to different planets and blow stuff up, so it looks really cool. So cool, I like to have that in there for sure. And then the rest of these titles here are original Nintendo games, the NES games. And here's some stuff that I did not have. So this one here is Renegade. A little beat 'em up on the NES. Happy to have that there. This is Wizards and Warriors 2. This is Iron Sword. I had the first one, I just didn't have 2. Alright, and this one here is Dungeon Magic Sword of the Elements on the NES. There's so many of these NES games, guys, that you can't keep track of them all. Now, I do remember renting this. This is a Tengen copy of it too, but I do remember renting this when I was younger. And this is Roadrunner on the NES. These little Tengen cards, man. I remember renting this thing from back in the day. Was Fry's. Fry's had rental at the time. You could go in there and rent a bunch of stuff. Used to do that a ton. So I got 2 more games here, guys. This one here is Ghosts and Goblins. Of course, Capcom classic, Ghosts and Goblins on the NES. Loved it on the Super Nintendo, the Super Ghouls and Ghosts. But it's freaking awesome. Super cool to have this on here. Happy. Alright, my last one, guys. Another RPG on here. And this is Ultima Quest of the Avatar. Like I said, guys, if I see stuff on here on the super cheap, I try to pick the things up. A lot of these titles are cool ones that I just didn't come by. Ninja Gaiden, didn't expect to see it. Gotta have it, man. Ninja Gaiden's freaking awesome. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.